Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Greetings from Berlin and a warm welcome to our highlights edition. And this time around, it includes the following stories. Celebrity status. German jewellery designer Nina Heidt is a hit with the stars. Party time. Fun and games at the Venice Carnival. And thinking big. A Dutch artist and his gigantic creations. Well, some artists are what you call a flash in the pan, meaning that they do one great thing or write one hit song and then never quite rise to that level of greatness again. Well, Norwegian photographer Kristoffer Jonasson decided to preempt that kind of a distinction, and his flash in the pan is that of his camera flash, and what it illuminates is an entire galaxy of other worlds.
What at first glance resemble photographs of mysterious planets are actually images of a normal frying pan. Photographer Kristoffer Jonasson discovered these beautiful patterns while studying design. Back then, the Norwegian's kitchen didn't boast the latest cooking utensils.
I was interested in seeing how the tiny marks that we leave behind every day was adding up over time, and I saw this connection with the bigger picture, the planet and how we're treating our planet.
Until recently, he worked as a graphic designer at an advertising agency. He created his first frying pan photos in his spare time. Kristoffer Jonasson can create photographs that resemble surreal, faraway planets by using the correct exposure or different liquids. He's never sacrificed any new pans for the sake of his art. He finds most of his utensils in the attics of friends and family.
I was really surprised to find how many frying pans were being kept and lying around after they actually weren't able to use them for cooking. But the best ones I got from the local scouts. They had a whole bunch of old iron frying pans that they bring out to the nature and put them over open fire and scrape them with knives and stuff. They were amazing. They had the best textures.
Kristoffer Jonasson has published a book featuring his best shots called Devour. His second book, entitled Before We Begin, shows people gazing up at the clouds. It's another example of turning apparently inconspicuous things into artworks. The photographer finds inspiration in his hometown of Stavanger, on the southwest coast of Norway. With around 130,000 residents, it's the country's fourth largest city. Its cityscape is dominated by the North Sea oil industry. But Stavanger has managed to maintain the tranquility of a small fishing village. Tranquility that the 33-year-old uses to observe his surroundings carefully.
I like the surrealism of everyday life. I like the small moments and the tiny details that it's easy to pass by. It's just a part of being present in the moment and just feeling that I'm alive.
He's currently showcasing some of his work in Switzerland and is already preparing an exhibition in France. Perhaps this, his latest work, will be part of the show, a series of photos depicting the 4 seasons from inside a forest.
I purposely try not to follow trends because I think it's so easy to gain attention by following popular trends. So I try to find different ways of looking at things, but I think that's more interesting for me, and at the end of the day I don't do this for anyone else.
Kristoffer Jonasson, a young photographer from Norway who's made it big. And all thanks to some battered and discarded frying pans.
Well, silver is Nina Heidt's material of choice, and she says she doesn't believe in Plan B because Plan A simply has to work. The Munich designer sold her favourite leather jackets to start her own business and then went with her gut feeling to become a jewellery designer. Well, 2 years later, her own label, Capulet, has been featured by most of the major women's magazines, and she's also got a number of highly effective walking billboards.
Fashion designer Karl Lagerfeld, German pop singer Nena, and superstar Lady Gaga. They all wear jewelry by Nina Heidt. Her label is called Capulet, like the famous Juliet from Shakespeare's tragedy.
I want to express that the jewelry has value in both senses of the word. The price of silver is so high that it's a valuable piece of jewelry, and I add a lot of quotes to transmit values through my messages.
Love is the most common message on Nina Heidt's jewelry. Her pieces are made by hand at her workshop in Munich. Heidt follows a careful, step-by-step procedure. After the amulet is cast, it's heated up with a blowtorch. Then it's oxidized in a sulfur solution.
The amulet is a lot easier to engrave if I've annealed and oxidized it first. That softens up the silver.
Any irregularities are ground off. Each piece of jewelry is unique. Then the message, often in Latin, is embossed onto the jewelry. The final step is polishing.
You need goggles, and then you hold it underneath like this until it's shiny and you're covered in black.
Her workshop is more than 100 years old.
I don't find it spooky here. I picked out this workshop myself. I looked at quite a few and spoke with several goldsmiths. I wanted to see if they understood my ideas, because I had no clue at the beginning. I needed help, and it took some time before I could make the jewelry myself.
Nina Heidt majored in media studies. She moved to Munich 6 years ago to work in television. But 2 years ago, she gave up her job as a TV presenter to concentrate on jewelry design.
Munich is my favorite city. If I could choose any city in Germany, I would always pick Munich. It's been my home for 6 years, and it's the greatest city in the world.
Nina Heidt travels a lot to market her jewelry, and Berlin is a regular stop. This year, she had a stand at the Premium Trade Fair. It's her third time here in all. Dealers from all over Germany come here to buy luxurious designer wear. A piece of Capulet jewelry costs between 200 and 2,000 euros. The designer also sells colorful bracelets under a second label that cost between 30 and 200 euros.
I'm seeing them for the first time, and they drew my attention right away. They catch your eye because they're different. It looks like Swarovski crystal with silver and all the neon colours of summer. They're cheerful and pretty, handmade bracelets you don't see everywhere.
I've been carrying her jewellery for about 6 months, and it's selling really well because my customers are looking for something flamboyant and extraordinary.
Numerous fashion magazines have featured Nina Heidt's work. At the trade fair, she promotes her jewelry with the celebrities that wear it.
It's great being in the spotlight and having celebrities wear my pieces. But I'm not too concerned about what other people are doing. I just want to do my own thing.
Her success took her by surprise at first.
It was hard starting out. I had panic attacks in the middle of the night, asking myself, what am I doing? How am I going to survive? In 2 months, I'll end up standing somewhere flipping burgers. But so far, so good.
It's unlikely that Nina Heidt will be looking for a job anytime soon. Her order books are full for the coming months. and she has customers the world over.
Well, in Germany, they call it the fifth season. And in the deep freeze that is February, it's certainly what much of Europe needs to avoid the winter doldrums, Carnival. It's celebrated in many different ways, of course, but nowhere is it more dignified and dramatic than in the Italian city of Venice. This is Carnival at its most romantic and mysterious, with opulent costumes and the thrill of hidden identities. And a mask such as this is an absolute must.
It's carnival time in Venice, and the city has been taken over by traditional costumes and those famous handcrafted masks. Venetians and tourists alike brave sub-freezing temperatures to see and be seen on St. Mark's Square. Some of the carnival goers obviously haven't read the dress code. Carnival in Venice is a serious affair, and the costumes should radiate elegance and emotion.
It's fascinating to wander past the old buildings in these traditional costumes and feel like you've gone back in time.
We've never been photographed as often as today, and tomorrow it won't be much different. Maybe next time we'll do it professionally.
I'm from Russia, and this is special for me just because of the city itself and the building and people who are dressed properly.
Venice is the best place to be on earth during Carnival, and to keep warm we are drinking, so it's really great. Just have fun.
Okay, andiamo avanti.
Not far from St. Mark's Square is the Palazzo Dandolo. Actor and director Fabio Momo is busy rehearsing with his ensemble. In the evening, they'll be performing a Casanova play to music from the 18th century. During Carnival, it's tradition for many ballrooms and luxury hotels to stage balls featuring theater performances.
Theater is linked very strictly with the Carnival of Venice because in Venice started the first professional theater, and that was the theater of the Commedia dell'arte. That means the actors that do it professionally in the 16th century. They used to wear the masks like Arlecchino, Pantalone, Brigella, and they performed in the streets. And after, the same costume was worn by the people participating at the Carnival.
The first guests arrive at the Palazzo Dandolo. Many have come from Germany, Russia, and Canada, and have paid €450 to enjoy a unique presentation in traditional clothing. Next door, final preparations are underway. It's the first time Fabio Momo and his team have performed the show. It tells the story of Casanova, who conquered many women's hearts in Venice during the 18th century.
That play particularly fits the Carnival because it's speaking about seduction, and you know, Carnival is a time of seduction, sex and masks and enjoyment, so we are here for that.
The curtain rises and the play begins.
We'll find it perhaps hot.
The story focuses on all the countless women that the elderly Casanova, played by Fabio Momo, had loved and can remember. One of his conquests is played by opera singer Marina Bartoli. The palace is the perfect setting for the play. It was once a casino, and the real-life Casanova is said to have played dice and cards here.
And I found it very nice, very interesting and special. No, it's real.
After the play, a lavish meal and a dancing class await the guests. Here they learn dances from the 17th and 18th century, like the steps to the minuet. Dancing is an integral part of any carnival ball in Venice, and reviving the old traditions fascinates the guests.
You can listen to the music, it's great. It takes us like 3 centuries ago, and we love it.
The singer was wonderful.
Tonight, I like Casanova very much, dances, and delicious food. It's very super.
The party goes late into the night. Fabio Momo is also out to enjoy himself. and slips once again into his role of Casanova.
Well, from the greatest lover of all time to a boy who, like so many of them, never wanted to grow up. This modern Peter Pan succeeded in a way, and as an artist, 34-year-old Florentijn Hofman of the Netherlands still manages to play with toys every single day. Hofman's artistic aim is to challenge the purpose of public spaces by sculpting giant playthings and then leaving them lying around in obscure places. So we caught up with him at work, or rather at play, on his latest project.
Florentijn Hofman loves toys, and he has lots of them. The artist from the Netherlands uses them as models for his works, such as this mini gorilla. His latest project is 1,000 times the size of the toy and about 15 meters tall.
So what I'm actually always searching for is the right skin on the right object at the right situation. And we copied all the designs on A4 paper and we cover it on this inflatable, on this huge monkey. Huh?
His sculptures are above all enormous, like this gigantic penguin. Or his best-known work, an enormous rubber duck. In 2009, he installed the 10-meter-tall figure in Japan, then sent it off around the world.
I thought, wow, if I enlarge this and throw it in public space, it looks like this giant baby or child is throwing around with his toys. And to be honest, I am this baby, this child, this who throws around his toys around the world. I had this Japanese businessman, and he bought one rubber duck of me in Japan, in Osaka. And he had a wish to fly on and above the rubber duck. A man, 65 years old.
Hofman earns a good living from his works, even though the costs of producing them often add up to 5-figure sums.
I like this factor, that it surprises people. Normally you do your thing during the day, you go to work, you have an appointment, you go to your family or friends, and in between I try to grasp you to get you out of your normal daily life and to let you stop and look.
Hofman studied art at a small university in the Netherlands. In 2002, he made his first oversized work. Every model is the result of painstaking research and countless sketches.
So it starts with the drawing and then modeling. So before you start making it at the location in concrete, I know the sculpture from top to bottom. But funny enough, I make big sculptures, but it always starts with a small model.
Florentijn Hofman designs the pieces. Technicians and craftsmen build them on site. The Steel Man is 10 meters tall. It's been standing in Amsterdam since 2011. His sculptures dominate cityscapes, often for just a short time. Many are just temporary, like this inflatable bunny in Rotterdam. It's 13 meters tall. Even though Hofman develops the ideas for his works on his own, he always assembles them with a team. 4 assistants are helping him with his latest project.
It has more value if people work along, volunteers, people adopt the project. And it starts with this, to bring a sculpture in public space. You need people to spread the word. And if you have really positive and high focused people around you that work along with you, the project becomes and increases and becomes better.
His big monkey is finished. It took 4 days to stick on all the sheets of paper. It was unveiled in Rotterdam over the weekend. But as is often the case with Florentijn Hofman, it'll only be there for a limited time.
Many objects are good for a limited time and then we throw them away. Things like old newspapers, empty bottles or old plastics. The idea of recycling those things has been around for several decades. But to take it a step further, an organization in the western German town of Herford near Dortmund founded the German Recycling Design Prize back in 2007. Now they're interested in everything from accessories to furniture as long as they're made out of used materials. And this year's winners from Switzerland managed to make recycling into an idea that you can really cuddle up to.
The Outsiders by Swiss designers Lea Gerber and Samuel Condé are old, but then again they're not. Their second-hand cuddly toys won them this year's German Recycling Design Prize.
We obviously weren't expecting to win first prize, but that's what happened.
Ja, so ist es gekommen.
I think the outsiders could be the start of a bigger idea, that we have to keep a closer eye on our planet. I think they could be an incentive for that.
Ein Aushängeschild, denke ich, können sie durchaus sein.
The idea came in 2010. They wanted to design a carpet for a university project on ecology and design. The duo used stuffed animals from second-hand shops and became fascinated by their insides.
Who would want a used stuffed animal? There are piles of them available in second-hand shops. And we found out we could pick them up, open them, and turn them inside out without a problem. And then you have a brand new product with a second life.
After studying product design, the duo joined up with two other designers to found the Volvox company in Zurich in 2010. Their products stem from objects that they find somewhere or production surplus from industry. Their creations include this lamp made from a nylon stocking. Other designs were inspired by nature. 26-year-old Samuel Condé and Lea Gerber, 32, also design furniture. The principle of sustainability plays an important role. These shelves came from discarded wood. Their chair hits the market later this year. But for now, the buzz is all about the Outsiders. The internationally renowned art museum Marta in the German town of Herford is currently presenting a selection of entries for the Recycling Design Prize. Marta's artistic director, Roland Nachtigaler, was in the 10-person panel of judges. He says although the Outsiders were the favorite, deciding wasn't easy.
Sometimes the emphasis is on the design of a product, sometimes it's more about an idea. But ultimately, the reason we decided to award first prize here was the feeling that we were seeing something mature, a concept that had its own shape. And that was something that in this form we had never seen before.
The Hereford show runs through March 18th and then tours other venues in Europe. More than 600 creative minds worldwide applied for this year's prize. That's 10 times as many as 5 years ago when the prize was first awarded.
The prize is a very interesting story. We've noticed that the ecological topic of recycling has taken on a very elegant form and is definitely something that leans heavily on design.
Back in Zurich, Lea Gerber and Samuel Condé are currently producing Outsiders only to order. Each cuddly toy is one of a kind and costs between 40 and 50 euros, depending on size. Their next goal is to find a manufacturer to mass-produce them.
Once you've won a prize with them, you definitely have an incentive to keep going and believe in what you're doing.
The two designers are using their 2,500 euros in prize money to help them concentrate more on their work and develop new ideas that show how discarded objects can become new things of beauty.
Naja, beauty might have been stretching it just a bit. But then again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, is it not? Well, that brings us to the end of this edition of our Euromaxx highlights. I hope you enjoyed it. And until we meet again, from all of us here in the studio in Berlin, all the best, alles Gute und auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.